Hey guys, so this is our Hemp 101 training, the basics of the plant, and just a little bit of beginner knowledge on hemp oil, CBD oil seems to be the buzzword, and now that Plexus is entering that space, we need to educate ourselves, okay? So this is kind of the basics to get started. Hey everyone! So this is a live video. It's also on Zoom, so feel free to comment and chat throughout. Let me know what you guys are thinking. You know, if you had told me 4 years ago when I started Plexus that I would be using CBD oil or hemp oil, I would have told you you were crazy. I was so uneducated about it, and I just thought it would never be something that I would partake in or something that I would do. Very uneducated about it. Then fast forward, a few years into Plexus, and because of Plexus, one, I'm healthier, but two, I'm surrounded by people that are a lot healthier than I am. I've started getting rid of chemicals, not only in my food, but also, my beauty supplies, our house. We're reducing our plastic use, just trying to live a more natural life like our bodies were intended. And so because of that, we started using a CBD oil a couple of years ago. I didn't use it personally. I've tried it. But we gave it to Steve, who, despite all of our best efforts with Plexus, he was having some issues with where his hands would peel. So we thought CBD oil may be good for him. And then I also gave it to my dog. So we have been taking it for a couple of years, and I am so excited for Plexus to jump into this space because I believe in this company and I trust this company, and I am so excited to use their product versus someone else's. So I'm going to jump in, make sure you guys are here. I'm going to share my screen. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Bill. Hey, Kelly. Really excited to do this training. Now, please know this is a basic 101. As we get more information on the actual product that Plexus is releasing, we'll do like a 201, more of an advanced level training. But right now, I want to share my screen with you guys. And just remember, when I'm sharing my screen, I'll be looking at the PowerPoint, so I can't see you. If you're in the Zoom, because you also could have clicked on the Zoom link, I can see your chat. But if you're on the Facebook Live, I'll just come back to your questions at the end, okay? So let's share my screen. And for those of you who maybe missed your email, you're not sure really what the heck's going on, Plexus has announced that they are coming out with a hemp line, a product line of hemp products, okay? We don't know what all is going to be included in that, and it's something I'm sure that they are thinking way in the future that'll set us up for years to come. But this new product line, in the fall, they are launching 2 new products. And right now, in June, you have a chance to be in their prototype sample group. So these products are not set in stone. If you add 3 ambassadors to your team in June, you get to be in the prototype sample group. That means you get to test the product and you get to provide them feedback as part of the sample group. Then they will make changes based on that feedback to the product before it launches for the mass marketplace. So I'm really excited about it. I have known that Plexus has been researching CBD and hemp and really studying the industry for well over 2 years, guys. And if you're new to Plexus, please listen when I tell you that our company, they don't jump into fads. They don't jump into something that's just a buzzword. They only do things that, 1, are clinically proven, 2, are well thought out, 3, are the highest quality, and they're not just going to put something on the marketplace just because it's the buzzword, okay? So I know a lot of companies are popping up. CBD seems to be the hot thing. It's all over your Facebook feed, but know that our company has been studying it now, hard research for 18 months, looking into the space for about 2 years. So the 2 new prototypes, though, that if you add 3 people to your team this month that you can test, there's going to be 2 new hemp products. And then they said the third product is a completely different product line that they're going to announce at convention. You could also test that if you wanted to. But of the 2 hemp, they're going to have a full spectrum hemp oil, and that one contains less than 0.3% of THC. We're going to talk about that a little bit later tonight. The other one, though, is a CBD isolate. It is 100% THC free. So let's get into hemp and the basics and what is all of this, right? So basically, what is hemp? Because, you know, like I said, 4 years ago, I was so uneducated about it. I didn't know the difference. I didn't know what hemp was. I was one of those people way back then that thought it was like marijuana and it was a drug. So let's talk about what hemp is, okay? Hemp is a plant. It is a cannabis plant, and it's grown specifically, though, for the industrial uses of the products you get from that plant. Okay, it's also one of the fastest growing plants, which makes it really a great crop. And it's one of the first plants to actually be spun into fiber over 10,000 years ago, guys. So hemp has been around forever. Hemp has been around longer than when people discovered marijuana could get them high. In fact, did you know that they have been using hemp fibers from the hemp plant since 8000 BC? There are records that show that. It's the strongest natural fiber in the world. Hemp plant is non-psychoactive, so you don't use the hemp plant to get high. It's actually a superfood. It contains so many incredible vitamins and nutrients that you can, a lot of people use hemp seeds in their smoothies. They sprinkle them on their salads. They cook with them. It's also an amazing crop. One, because you don't actually need any pesticides or anything for it to grow because it is so fast growing. Did you know that? You don't need to put any chemicals on it. So it's an actual really, really good crop, and it's really good for the soil. It actually leaves the soil better than when it found it. So because of that, you know, Chernobyl, the big, huge nuclear site that was just a disaster. In fact, I think somebody said HBO is running a documentary on it right now. They actually used hemp plants to clean that soil up. Isn't that amazing? And the other big disaster site in Japan, they want to do the same thing because the hemp plant can actually restore their soil. But because of some of their laws over there, they're not able to do that yet. And then back in colonial America, hemp was such a commodity, especially for ropes for ships and other construction materials, that colonial farmers were required to use a percentage of their farms to grow hemp. They had no choice. The government of colonial America said, we need hemp. You guys have to grow it. You have to put a percentage of your farm towards hemp. So that alone should tell us, guys, this has been around for centuries. And so the research and the knowledge and the information about the hemp plant, this is not anything new. Just because it might be new to us, it is not anything new to the rest of the world, right? So when they talk about hemp, you will hear them often say industrial hemp because the hemp plant is not grown for psychoactive purposes. You can't get high from it. So that's oftentimes you'll hear them talk about industrial hemp. Those are the plants that are grown for all of these materials. And you guys may have seen some in your stores, right? I've seen for years lotion that had hemp in it. Textiles, though, building materials is made from the fiber. Insulation, carpeting, paneling, everything from cardboard, packaging, clothing, other textiles. There's beauty products that they use hemp in. There's food that I talked about with like the hemp seeds and hulling the shell and using the meat of the plant. So it really is an incredible, incredible resource. And it only takes 4 months for hemp to grow versus 20 years for a tree to get mature. So when we talk about using it industrially for fibers and plants and cardboard and cordage and all of these things, it really is smarter for our planet to have this big focus on the hemp plant. It's such a valuable, valuable resource for things above and beyond what we're going to talk about tonight, and that is health and wellness, okay? So the big question people have a lot, though, is, all right, hemp versus marijuana. What's the difference? Like, because a lot of times I think there's a lot of urban legends that get passed, and a lot of times we think it's the same. So what I found, and what is true when you look at it, they're not the same. They're actually two different plants. So they're from the cannabis species, but they are two separate plants. And one of the main differences, and again, this is our 101 training, so I'm not going to get too technical. We'll leave that for the 201 training, but hemp contains CBD. All right, so when you talk about CBD oil, that's the big thing everyone's talking about. That's from the hemp plant. That's the cannabinoid that's in hemp. It only contains trace amounts of THC, hemp does. So when we're talking about getting high, there's not enough in hemp for you to get high. Marijuana, though, is the other cannabis plant. It contains a significant amount of THC, and the only reason it is grown is to get you high, all right? So they are two separate plants, and we're talking hemp versus marijuana. And I just, I kind of feel like there may be some questions here as we're coming, so I do just want to check real quick if my phone will load. I'm not sure if it will. There we go. So that's the big kind of difference. Now, the reason hemp helps with health and wellness that I want to talk about that many people don't understand, I didn't know about this up until a couple years ago when we started using it, is our body has actually an endocannabinoid system. So we have our own cannabinoids. Our body produces these things that are in also the hemp plant. Now they're all different. There's different types of cannabinoids, but it's kind of a receptor system in our body that helps balance bodily functions, especially sleep, discomfort, memory, mood. All right. And there's even cannabinoids in breast milk when we are breastfeeding. And right, they say like that's, contains everything the body needs. Well, it contains our own cannabinoids. Okay. So what the theory is and what the science shows is that when you introduce other cannabinoids, like the ones found in hemp, into our body, they have an effect on how our body works, and it actually helps to promote even a more stable kind of balance or equilibrium in our natural endocannabinoid system, okay? So when we're talking though about hemp, there are two main cannabinoids we're going to talk about, all right? CBD is the one that's in hemp. That's the non-psychoactive compound, right? That's the one that has health benefits. Then there's the THC. That is what is in marijuana. That is psychoactive. It's what people use to get high, all right? So both marijuana and hemp contain CBD, but the big difference is marijuana contains a significant amount of THC, whereas hemp only contains that 0.3% or less. It's such a significant amount, you will not get high, okay? But we're going to talk a little bit further because like I said at the beginning, Plexus is going to have two products, one with a 0.3% or less THC, but one with 0 THC for those who are concerned about that, okay? But that's kind of how it works in our body and in our system. Let me check I want to check you guys on the live real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey guys, all right, I see you.
So when we're talking about
the hemp oil, so then we're going to talk about hemp oil and CBD isolate. Oftentimes people interchange them. You'll hear CBD oil, hemp oil, isolate, hemp isolate, and it's all kind of interchanged, but it shouldn't be, right? Just like hemp and marijuana shouldn't be intertwined. So if you think about it, you have the big hemp plant. And so we're going to get hemp oil by literally just pressing that plant and getting the oil from it. It's typically the leaves and the stems. You press it, you get oil, just like olive oil, right? Take a plant, press it. That's what hemp oil is, okay? When they say it's a full spectrum hemp oil, that means that they have made sure that when they press that plant, they maintain all of the same compounds, including all of the cannabinoids that are found in the hemp plant. So full spectrum hemp oil, that's one of the products that Plexus is going to have as a test prototype. A full spectrum hemp oil. They take the whole plant, the leaves and the stems, they crush it, they get an oil, they make sure everything's in it. That includes the 0.3% THC. There's a lot of other good stuff in a full spectrum too. You'll hear people say full spectrum is the one you want for your health issues. It's going to have all of the vitamins and minerals. CBD isolate is different, okay? So what they do, they take the hemp plant, they don't crush it, they extract from the hemp just the CBD isolate, just that cannabis. They only take the CBD from the plant. That's the only compound in a CBD isolate. All of the other compounds, the flavonoids, the other cannabinoids, all of that, all the oils, even the chlorophyll from the hemp, none of that is in a CBD isolate. It's only the CBD. So there's pros and cons to both. We'll get into more of that in the 201 training once we know some more information about the Plexus specific ones. But again, take the plant, crush it, get the oil. It contains everything that's in that hemp plant. The other thing is just extracting the CBD. So with the CBD isolate, you do get a more potent concentration of the CBD, but you don't get everything else like the chlorophyll, the other cannabinoids, the vitamins, all of those that are in the full plant, okay? But CBD isolate is the one for people who want to get the most health benefits but want to completely avoid THC. There's zero THC in the CBD isolate. So that's a big distinction, especially when this is new to some people and they're concerned about it. That's the one distinction that you really want to remember. Full spectrum hemp has a little bit of the THC, even though you won't get high, and then CBD isolate has nothing. It's just the CBD pulled from the plant, all right? So let's talk about health benefits. Why is this kind of all over the place? Why are we hearing all about hemp and CBD? Well, going back to that, our endocannabinoid system that our body has, a lot of people in the field refer to this entourage effect. And I realize I have that on there twice on the slide. But when you take all of the compounds that are found in hemp oil, so the CBD, the flavonoids, which are found in fruits and veggies, the terpenes that have effects on the brain, the vitamins, the minerals. So full spectrum hemp contains vitamin A, C, E, has niacin, iron, calcium, zinc, magnesium, all these things. It also has essential fatty acids. It has amino acids. When you take that full spectrum hemp oil and you introduce it into our already existing endocannabinoid system, you get this entourage effect, which is where it kind of fills in the holes and the gaps in our own endocannabinoid system. And it works together like synergistically to make our body more balanced, bring us back to equilibrium. That's where you get a lot of those big time health benefits, right? You can only have that entourage effect though with the full spectrum hemp. You can't have it with the CBD isolate. However, both hemp oil and the CBD isolate have been shown, and there are well-studied health benefits for feeling of calmness, right? So a lot of people who have anxiety or are stressed, they rave about the benefits of hemp or CBD. Improved mood, healthy sleep cycle, and then other effects of that endocannabinoid system. We'll talk about that kind of in a minute. So I want to go over some frequently asked questions, and then I'm going to stop the slide and just jump on the team page live. But one big frequently asked question is it legal, right? That's the big one that we get all the time. Is it legal? Is it legal? Technically, yes. So it's legal in all 50 states, and it's legal under the Industrial Hemp Farming Act of 2014. Now, that's a federal law, and we know in this great country that states all can interpret and set their own laws. But because it is federally legal, you can ship hemp oil and CBD isolate to all 50 states, okay? Any website you go to, if you're currently purchasing a product, they ship to all 50 states. Now, will you get high? No. You cannot get high on either the full spectrum or the CBD, but can you fail a drug test? Well, if it has that 0.30% THC, we can't say yes or no, right? It's like the poppy seeds. If you eat a poppy seed muffin, you might fail that drug test. We can't say whether you will or you won't. Same with that THC. So I know there are going to be lots of implications for many of our people who love our products that are in law enforcement, military, other careers that have frequent drug testing. That will be something they will have to decide on their own. They certainly don't have to use the full spectrum that has the trace amounts of THC, okay? But they will not get high. So I have a couple other slides. Sorry, I thought this was my last one. So back to Plexus. They had announced that they were going to have a strategic partnership with Charlotte's Web. That's actually the brand that my husband and I use. I know the family. We know the family that grows it. They grow their own. Well, that didn't work out with Plexus. And I will tell you, I assume it's because they could not keep up with the demand for both their own customers and then all of the new Plexus customers, because their farm is only so big. So instead, Plexus has announced that their strategic partner is Hempsphere, and I'm really excited about it because they source organically grown on U.S. farms hemp that uses no pesticides, no fungicides, non-GMOs, not only in the growing, but also in the harvesting and the processing, which is a big distinction. And that's a big kind of stamp of approval for Plexus, because even the stevia in our paint drink is a water extraction process. They won't even use chemicals to process it, right? And then their hemp is also manufactured in a facility that follows certain good manufacturing practices, and they go through multiple rounds of testing to make sure that their final product is pure and free from contaminants. So you guys can go to this website. It's hemp-sphere.com. Learn all the information about it. But Plexus, we don't grow any of our own ingredients, right? We don't have a farm to grow the aloe in our X Factor. We don't have an ocean in our backyard where we grow our own New Zealand green lip mussel, right? Those are from other distributors and other suppliers. Hempsphere will be our supplier at this point for the prototype. So everything we're seeing coming out of Plexus and everything you can share with people, just make that distinction. It's a prototype, because whatever this month, whatever the test group gets, I'm sure there's going to be some changes because they listen to our feedback. In fact, when I get off here, remind me to tell you the story of our Mega X Omega supplement and how Plexus listens to their test groups and their people. Okay, so what can you say and what you can't say about hemp? So I'm sure you guys have all seen stories about hemp oil or CBD using for many health issues, particularly like epilepsy, seizures, other major issues like that. Well, hey guys, it's a supplement, and just like any supplement, even if it's true, the FDA will not let us say that they help diseases. So there are things that we can and cannot say about hemp. And this came from the Hempsphere website. It didn't come from Plexus, although you can find this. Plexus has a direct link from your virtual office to the Hempsphere site. One thing I like about kind of the hemp arena is all of the growers, the producers, and the manufacturers. They're kind of their own separate community of people that support each other and work together to, one, reduce the stigma and the misconceptions of hemp, but also they were a big force in that Hemp Farming Act to get it pushed through. So they're also a big community, though, that really want us to be careful what we can and can't say, because I'm sure eventually their goal is, you know, to get the FDA off their back and make this more mainstream. So you can say things like manage stress, support sleep, address discomfort, feelings of calm, feelings of focus. You can say it works with your endocannabinoid system. You can talk about memory. You can talk about mood. You cannot say, I took hemp oil and my seizures stopped, right? Or, hey, take my hemp oil and your seizures might stop. You can't say anything about the migraines, the fibromyalgia. No real difference between our current products because they're all still supplements. But this is just a great thing of what you can and can't say. And then the other thing is they have these great shareables. So instead of sharing certain things, they give you resources that you can share. So really excited that we've kind of partnered with them. I'm going to jump back on here to the live so I can see any of your questions. So that is kind of our Hemp 101. And just for you guys that are just jumping in, if you are worried, so I see some of your comments, if you're worried about this THC showing up in a drug test, you do not want to do the full spectrum hemp. You want to do the CBD isolate. There's zero trace in the CBD isolate, right? So if you're someone, and I will tell you that, you know, in some places, hemp is well more received, and in other places it's brand new and there's lots of misconceptions. So there's also going to be all kinds of rules. I know some police departments have said their officers can't use any of it. They don't care if it's got the THC or not because there's such a gray area. So that is going to be left up to the individual person. We can help educate them as much as we can, but that's really going to be left up to that person. So I'm really excited. And guys, this is a perfect time to be a part of the test group. We don't get these opportunities very often. You know, Plexus has a science team. We have a scientific advisory board. We have an entire research and development department led by all the scientists. The scientists are going to be at convention. We'll be able to ask them tons of questions. They always do test groups and focus groups for any new product. It usually, though, doesn't hit the mainstream field of ambassadors. So this is really cool. If you add 3 ambassadors to your team, we all know 3 people that need Plexus products. You will get to be a part of that group, and they will take your feedback. Let me tell you this story because it's remarkable. And if you're new to Plexus, you need to hear this. My very first convention, so I joined Plexus in March. The convention was in June. I wasn't really bought into this whole Plexus network marketing thing, so I wasn't going to go. But my first couple of months using the products, getting the emails, being on the team page and stuff, Plexus were running these kind of commercials on social media, and it was for their new product. The new product was a surprise, and they were keeping you guessing. So it was like, is it a fish? Is it a plant? And they ran all these different ads on social media for us, the ambassadors. They sent emails. They really built up this hype. Lots of graphics, lots of information, and then they were going to announce the new product at convention, and it was going to be available for purchase. So this was a really, really big deal, okay? Also around this time, it's when the Belly Blaster shakes were really popular, and people were using coconut milk, and we were telling them not to use coconut milk with carrageenan because carrageenan causes inflammation, okay? So I go to convention, we go to convention, and you know, all the fanfare, the lights, the video, I mean, big, huge announcement that they are launching a plant-based omega that you guys know as Mega X. They gave everyone in the audience a bottle, told us they had a supply at the convention store that we could buy, and that it was live on the website. Anybody could purchase the Mega X omega. Boy, were we excited to have a plant-based omega that doesn't have fish in it. However, as we're sitting there and the president and CEO are up on stage telling us about it, we all are turning the bottle over and we're reading through the ingredients and we notice it has carrageenan in it. I am not kidding you when I tell you that within 30 minutes, it had gotten through the audience up to the jewels. You know, the jewels are the 3 highest ranks in the company. They give feedback to the executives who are backstage, letting them know that we cannot get behind a product that has carrageenan. Even though it's from seaweed, it causes inflammation. Within 30 minutes, the president and the CEO come back out on stage and they say, we've heard you. We're pulling the product from the shelf. We've talked to our scientists. We're replacing the carrageenan with another plant that does not cause inflammation. If that doesn't blow your mind about what kind of a company this is, I don't know what will, because think of the millions of dollars that went into that decision. They already had it manufactured, bottled. They already had it ready to ship. Orders were coming in online, and they stopped the assembly line. They stopped the process. They found a new supplier. So I know without a doubt that if you're part of the test group and you guys are giving feedback, whether it's to the flavor, the consistency, or the effects you feel from either the full spectrum hemp oil or the CBD isolate, they are going to listen to you. So this is an incredible opportunity to impact this product. And I would also encourage all of you who are currently already using a CBD isolate or a hemp oil extract, a full spectrum, I would encourage you to this fall, or you know, you could add 3 people to your team and test it and compare it and maybe tell them like, look, I've been taking this one and this is how it makes me feel. I tried Plexus for July and August and, you know, it made me feel this way. That would be great feedback. But I encourage all of you who are currently using it to make the switch this fall and try the Plexus one and see the difference and see how you feel. I'm really excited. Once I've started digging into it, you know, I told you Steve has been taking it. And my dogs have been taking it. They're older. We did it for their joints, for discomfort. But the preventative benefits of full spectrum hemp oil and CBD isolate for things such as the neurological system and other memory and other things in the endocannabinoid system, I am going to start taking it every day as a preventative. So I'm really excited that Plexus has come out with one. In fact, there are so many out there. Even though I've been researching it, I was kind of overwhelmed with who to go to. I knew Charlotte's Web was one of the leaders, so that's who I chose. But I'm so glad Plexus is jumping in because they're definitely a company I can trust. And without a doubt, I will be using their new products when it launches in the fall. So I'm really excited. Hope you guys learned some stuff tonight. Hope you had a great time. If you have any more questions, please chat them on this thread. And again, we don't know what is going to be we don't know what's going to be in the actual product. Like we know it's going to be a full spectrum hemp and a CBD isolate. We know it's going to be organic, but we don't know the absorption rate. We don't know the flavors, the price. We don't know any of that yet. So when you're telling people Plexus is jumping into hemp and CBD, just tell them that we're launching a new product line and we now have 2 prototypes. Because again, they could take our feedback and that could change. So we don't want to say something that isn't true on down the road when the product comes out. So I'm excited, guys. This is an amazing time to be on this rocket ship because that doesn't even include whatever the new product is they're coming out with at convention. So happy Sunday. I hope you guys have a great week. We're going to be having a lot of fun on the team page this week. So make sure you're taking your 15 minutes a day to check in and see what's going on our team page. Night, guys.